Mahomes won Best Male Athlete, and the Kansas City Chiefs won Best Team at last night's ESPY Awards. A few hours earlier, the Chiefs also were awarded with the expectations of the most confident take of the next 2 years, as our own Nick Wright claimed that they would three-peat. For your listening pleasure, listen to this.
The Chiefs aren't going to win it every year.
Correct. But the problem I actually believe that. The Chiefs aren't going to win every year. They are going to win it the next 2 years. They'll be the first team to three-peat. But go ahead.
Really?
Yeah, they're going to be the first team to three-peat.
Okay, Greg. Oh, we cut right back. I'm still here. I haven't left. Greg, your reaction.
You said it so matter-of-factly, too. Like, it's guaranteed. Like, it's,
nothing's guaranteed.
Well, no, exactly. Slow down. Like, I'm with you. They have a chance, and particularly this year, to go back to back.
Two-thirds of the way.
Yeah, but the last. Do you understand how hard it is to even go back to back?
Well, yeah.
The last team to do it, you know. Wilds, you happen to know.
Yeah.
I was on the team.
The 03-04 Patriots.
Correct. Mm-hmm. Like, that's back to back.
Yeah.
Three-peat? Mm-hmm. It literally has not been done in the Super Bowl era.
Yeah, sure.
What you're basically saying is the Kansas City Chiefs are the one team that will continue to improve while no one else gets good enough to where they can knock them off their high horse.
Pretty good.
Well,
that's basically what you're saying.
Let me tell you exactly what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the time to beat them was last year and nobody could, and now they won't. So here's the time
to beat them because Patrick Mahomes was injured?
Well, Mahomes was injured. They were playing all these rookies. They had lost Tyreek Hill. The division got better. The Bills took their shot. The Bengals hadn't paid everybody. All these things had happened to where the Chiefs were vulnerable, and yet they ended up holding the trophy. So let me just build the case, if I may, Your Honor.
Sure, please.
How do the Chiefs under Andy Reid and Mahomes do while defending the Super Bowl? Well, since the Patriots repeat, they have defended it the best because no one has gone back-to-back. The Chiefs, however, did go 14-1 in their first 15. They rested in Week 16. They dominated the AFC title game, made it to the Super Bowl, and then, with an offensive line decimated by injuries, they lost. But that is as close as any team has come to repeating. So they have that. Okay, what about how they are set up for the here and the now and the future? Well, when it comes to salary cap, they have the 12th most space next year, and they have the 14th most space the year after. That's good for a team that is already awesome. What about, bad contracts, dead cap? Well, they have $7 million on the books this year. That's the fifth least, and they have $0 moving forward. That is the actual least. What about these funny contracts? You know how you hear about these teams? They're like, oh, they signed a guy to 6 void years to try to help the right now.
That always
the Chiefs have 0 players with that on their deal. What about their best players? How highly are they paid? Well, Patrick Mahomes currently the 7th highest paid quarterback, about to be 9th after Herbert and Burrow and get their contracts. And maybe in a year when the Prince gets his, he'll probably be paid in bullion or something. But regardless, they could all pass him. We'll see with Chris Jones' thing. And then there is this. What, are you okay, buddy?
I didn't have bullion.
Why gold bullion? I don't know how they want to get paid. Why do I think they'll be better? Well, were they playing young guys or old guys? And where's their weakness? Can we show it, though? Just give a little context. Most snaps played on defense by rookies. The Chiefs, number 1 in the NFL. All those guys will be better. What do the Bears and Texans have in common? They were rebuilding, and that's why they did it. That's why I said the Chiefs won a Super Bowl in a rebuilding year. So, yeah. So that would be would be my argument.
All right, here's my argument. Why it's going to be difficult. But I'm a Chiefs fan. It's a little bit of Stockholm syndrome. Been around so much. I'm like, I guess I also like the Chiefs. One is injuries. Obviously, Mahomes started 17 games last 2 years. I know we've been watching quarterback, and he's doesn't want to come out of the game. But there's a little bit of luck. Kelsey started 17 and 16. 2, look at the schedule. Man, I think you're going to get everybody's best shot. At the same time, not to negate my own point. Yeah, I also think as long as you get to the playoffs, you're going to be dangerous. But this one from our friend Warren Sharp, who I think I accidentally ordered the PDF. I didn't want the PDF. I want the real book. But in any event, here's his tweet. Chiefs are next. This is talking about rest, Greg. KC plays 6 straight games with less rest than their opponent. 6, and then an emoji with a head exploding. Later in the year, week 12, 17, every single game the Chiefs play is at a rest disadvantage. I researched back 35 years. It's never happened before.
Yeah,
you got a lot of prime time. This doesn't worry you at all.
Well, no, I mean, listen, I understand that, they have a lot of, powers that be rooting against a dynasty from the middle of the country. Nobody wants to see that. There's a lot of coastal bias across media and pro sports leagues, but that's fine. Throw more at them. I'm not worried about that. I'm not sitting here guaranteeing an undefeated season. And now, come on. August, we'll see. But that the rest disadvantage doesn't worry me at all come the postseason because they won't be at a rest disadvantage.
Losing players doesn't bother you. Losing Orlando Brown, that doesn't bother you at all. They're good. Obviously, you lost Juju, but I'm not going to sit here and make it seem like Juju was a reason why they won the Super Bowl. He came up big.
He's pretty good.
In the game.
He was
solid.
He came up big.
He's a great wide receiver.
I know.
And I think the reason why I think it's just not gonna happen, Nick. And I'm not rooting against them.
No, that was last year when you kept picking against them.
That was
Bills
last
and
year.
the Bengals.
That was let's bygones be bygones.
Sorry.
However, I do believe that when you look at a team that's trying to go back to back, there has to be, like what Wild said, a lot of fortune in their favor. Like you can't have injuries, all the things. What I believe the Chiefs are suffering from, and I could be wrong if Rashee Rice turns out to be a guy, which I believe he can be, then maybe they'll hit a home run. But Patrick Mahomes being so good, their lack of interest in trying to acquire another guy that is an alpha guy outside of Travis Kelce the wide receiver position, I feel like it will come back to bite them eventually.
So here's the thing. I understand that argument, and maybe you will be correct. Now,
I lived it in Green Bay, watching Aaron Rodgers and how we all lived it. Watching Aaron Rodgers and how good he was. The Green Bay Packers never thought it was in their best interest to go and get a skill guy. Let's go get a guy in the first round. We can get by with getting a guy in the second round, and I'm not knocking that guy. I was the second round guy. I appreciate it, but eventually it came back to bite them. One Super Bowl appearance. Nothing else to show for it.
Correct. But I think there are a lot of reasons Mahomes is ascended a couple levels past Rodgers.
He is.
But I want to talk, your experience, I think, is actually the argument for the Chiefs' methodology, which is the reason I have not been, and I know we're going to talk about D-Hop later, the reason I have not been pounding the table, they've got to get DeAndre Hopkins, is there is an opportunity cost. Two, if the team had gone out and signed, a year into your career, whoever the D-Hop of that time was, what the opportunity would have taken away from you and the way it would have stunted your development. And when you have, even though he's on a bargain contract, a super high-paid quarterback, about to have an even higher-paid defensive tackle, I'm never going to get to it, all those things. You need those young players to get the opportunity to become valuable NFL starters on their rookie deal. Now, I liked Sky Moore. He had a very rough rookie season. How much better will he be given the fact that he scored his one touchdown in the Super Bowl and moving from there? And then the last thing I'll say is on that Netflix show, Mahomes is talking about how he never wants to, he wants to make sure he doesn't leave his career with any regrets. As long as Mahomes and Kelce are playing for GOAT stakes, for Kelce his position, for Mahomes, for everybody, I think that is a natural elixir for potential Super Bowl hangover stuff, for the get fat and happy, because they are trying to do things no one has done. So I think last year was the time to get him, and nobody got him.
I think he also said Kadarius Toney could be one of the best wide receivers in the league.
Well, that's the other, and I agree with that, actually. I think the guy's maybe a bit of a knucklehead, but he's a hell of a player, man.
Chris Jones, in the midst of a contract negotiation, spent optimism around a long-term deal. He seemed to be in good spirits on the stage last night.
The wildly underrated Chris Jones, second league in sacks last year, the all-time...
I don't get why he is.
I didn't even realize he's the all-time NFL record holder for consecutive games with a sack, and he set that record 5 years ago. And listen, Quinnen Williams for the Jets just got paid today. 4 years, $96 million, clutch client. And so I think that, Chris Jones is going to come in probably 4 years, $97 million. And then I just do it for, good people over there. Here is the question I have for Greg, though. So Chris Jones is, technically holding out right now. He has also publicly said, I'm going to win Defensive Player of the Year. I'm a Chief for life.
Exactly.
And just showed up at the ESPYs with the Chiefs accepting the award. If you were in that situation, would your agent be telling you, you're killing me, man? Or is it this is a signal that, yes, he is holding out, but the Chiefs have nothing to worry about him coming back? Because that's how I feel about it.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it. You can go and do all these things and still conduct business. Chris Jones obviously, he wants to be a Kansas City Chief. He said it. You just mentioned it. What I do love about Chris Jones is he's going to get it done, and he knows he's going to get it done. The Kansas City Chiefs know that they have the best defensive tackle in all of football. Period. He is the best.
He's better than Aaron Donald.
He's
right?
the best defensive tackle in all of football. I know what Aaron Donald has been for so many years. Chris Jones is now the best defensive tackle in all of football. 15.5 sacks last year, 17 TFLs. Like he is so disruptive, and he's so overlooked because of how exciting their offense is. Yeah. But when you pay attention to the reason why the Kansas City Chiefs ends up winning a lot of these games is because that guy right there comes up clutch when they need him to.
In the AFC Championship game,
clutch client.
In the AFC Championship game, the Chiefs punted the ball back to Cincinnati in a tie game, and Chris Jones got him off the field, which then led to the Mahomes heroics. But also, Wilds, it sounds to me like Greg is saying that the Chiefs have the best player in the league, the best skill position guy in the league, Travis Kelce, the best defensive player in the league, and the best coach in the league. You know what that sounds like? Three-peat. Sounds like three-peat.
Maybe a two. I don't not like the Kansas City Chiefs.
Then it's only can you get a one-peat.
Exactly. I mean, can they win one Super Bowl? How hard is that? I mean, they've already done.
You kind of agreed with them, though.
Yeah. Thanks. Appreciate that.
All right.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.